I just want to give you some context in terms of what we're going to write today. It started with an email. This is a portion of the email from a CodeRush customer named Simon. Simon says, due to the dynamic nature and complexity of the projects I've worked on, you have a situation where they want to have CopyLocal set to false. They want that to be set as the default. Because if it's not, what happens is they set to true, it slows down the build, and then they have some other problems as well. So one of the things that they want to, one of the feature requests is when I add a reference, I want CopyLocal to be set to false instead of true. Let's take a look at what happens in Visual Studio here. We'll open up Object Initializer Test. And we will take a look at that. And so we come over to the Solution Explorer. And I've got a C# class library over here. Let's go in into references. Let's add the reference versus a project. Just take a look at it as a project reference. And there it is here. You can see what we have here. We have CopyLocal is set to true. And so we want the default to be set to false on there. Let's go ahead and remove that reference. And let's see. Let's go back over to the email. And so that's one of the requests. The other one is the specific version. They want that to be set to true. By default, it's set to false. And the problem they have in their team is that they want the dev build process to be as similar as possible to the automated production build process. And so what it's possible on the machines with specific versions set to false, that a dev can compile on his machine, and then their build fails because it's compiling, it's looking for a specific version and it can't be located. Okay. So these are two properties of the project, and they want them of the reference. I mean, and when they add the reference, the request is they want to set CopyLocal to false, and they want to set specific version to true. And with this, I'm told in my ear by my production manager that Rory has just arrived. Rory, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It looks like you had caps lock in when you typed in your name. You've got a lowercase.
I did. I've been rushing to get ready.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, Rory, this is what Rory's name looks like for everybody who's like wondering what I'm talking about. His name looks like this in the list of the attendees or organizers. So Rory's in just to get, I sent out, I was going to do a double feature today. I was going to do 2 different feature requests, but I'm heading on a plane in a couple hours to Australia, and I got to get all this crazy stuff done before that is complete. And so I have very little time to do that. So I'm going to do only a single feature today. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to change, we're going to create a plugin that when we add a reference, sets CopyLocal to false and set specific version to true. So that's our goal. All right, so let's do it. So we'll go into DevExpress, we'll say new plugin. We'll come in here and we're going to say CR_CodeRush_, and I think I want to, my idea is that this will kind of maybe evolve if somebody wants to work on this and improve it. I'm seeing this thing as an options dialog that lets you set default options for your references and specify a whole bunch of them. Right, I'm hearing some microphone noise. I don't know if that's coming from you or maybe Amanda, but
it's probably me. I've got a secondary mic I'm having to use because I wasn't quite as prepared as normal.
Got it. Okay, no problem. Rory, we still appreciate you here, and you're probably going to save my ass, as usual, just about every session. So every time we do this.
Well, I don't know about that.
You can come here with any microphone you want to. I mean, you can take a can and a magnet and some wire, and I'll be okay. I'll be happy. Okay.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, it would be cool. So we're gonna we should create a third webinar series, weekly webinar, where we just build stuff out of cans and wire. No? All right.
We can post it from build.
Yes. Yeah, actually, could you? Are you coming to build, by the way?
I'm afraid I'm not, no.
Oh, okay, well, maybe we'll do it remotely. I will be at build, and so, we're having a crazy major party at build. I don't know if we're talking about this yet. Ned, are we talking about this yet? Are we talking about this build thing yet? Does anybody know? I'm not sure we're telling people. I think we are.
Yeah, totally.
Do we know anything that we can say?
Smash Mouth is going to be there. Can I say who's going to be there?
Yeah, you can say it.
Smash Mouth is going to be there. It's at the House of Blues, I think.
House of Blues in Anaheim, and yeah, Smash Mouth is playing.
Yeah, so it's going to be, if you're listening to this before Build and you're going to be at Build, by golly, be there. And if not, still I would Google DevExpress and maybe Smash Mouth and Build, and I bet you're going to find some cool videos from the party. That's going to be wild. Okay, so and given the history of developer parties and developer conferences, the entire history, this could actually be the best party ever, ever. Not only in the past, but in the future as well. Because developer parties kind of suck, nothing that, I'm just saying. So, so Smash Mouth is going to be there. It should be pretty exciting. Okay, so like I said, I'm envisioning this as a way for we can come in and we can say, these are the default property settings I want for any reference I add. And we can just set them. Not only specific version CopyLocal, but others could be added later. So I want to give this a name that's more generic. So I'm going to just call this project reference defaults is what I'll call this. And if we have time, we'll make an options page for this as well. And we'll try to make that thing occur. So we'll create that. And I'll click OK here, as I always do, just accepting all the default options. And let's see what we want to do here. We want to go to Properties, go to Events, and we want to choose, is it Project Reference Added or just Reference Added? There it is, Reference Added. So Reference Added, double click on that. And let's just run. See what happens. Okay. So we're starting up a new instance of Visual Studio. And we're going to open up an object initializer test. How's the sound quality, by the way, Rory? Is it okay?
It's good from here, yeah.
Okay. All right, and then we're going to go in here. We're going to say right-click, choose Add Reference. We'll add a C#. We'll add the C# class library reference, and there is our reference added event handler breakpoint being reached. So let's look at this. We have an EA.reference. Let's actually take this and drop it down into the Watchman and see what we can do with this. It's in our namespace. The DevExpress CodeRush core VS reference is what this is. So this means it's our wrapper. It's either our wrapper or some class we have to represent this. Let's see what sort of properties we have inside here. So nice. We've got CopyLocal, minor version project, all this stuff. But we do not have specific version. Okay? And I think the reason we may not, I'm not sure, but the reason we may not is because I think specific version might have been introduced later on, like after 2005. I'm not 100% sure, but it might. The other thing that may be going on here is this may be a generic kind of, or when I say generic, I mean kind of a base level kind of reference, and there may be more specific references that are out there that are more capable versions. But we do have CopyLocal, and it is set to true. And so we can at least solve that problem right now. So we can come in here and we say EA.reference.CopyLocal and set it equal to false, like that. Okay. In fact, it's interesting. So the reference, what is the reference type here? This is just reference, but it's coming in as a VS reference. So it's interesting. So we have two different things. We might, well, let's see what happens with this. This might just work all by itself. It'll be okay there. And then it's now set to false. So we'll now run. And now if we go over and bring up properties for that, CopyLocal is set to false instead of true like we saw last time. Okay? Happy with at least half of it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's quiet, so they're like, not impressed apparently at this point. Okay, so how do we get to the next thing? Well, we're going to have to shut down. Let's actually, before I do this, let's do this. Let's remove it. And let's save and shut down. So we're shutting down, and we're going to come back. And in order to go beyond this, right, to get to the, we're going to have to kind of delve into areas of Visual Studio that CodeRush does not protect you from. So as a result, let me do one other thing too, because sometimes we have this locking problem, and I'm sensing it's about to happen to us. So I'm going to delete these now before they get loaded into this instance of Visual Studio.
Just so you know, Mark, been chatting with some of the devs this week.
Yeah.
And in an almost totally unrelated sort of bit of logic, I think my own personal belief is that may be solved soon. That locking issue.
The locking issue. Oh, that's cool.
Well, because I don't know whether I should be saying this, but there's a bit of logic afoot to prevent us ever locking plugins in the community folder for any reason, including using them. Very, very.
Okay, so it's top secret information, but fine. No, that's totally fine, Roy. You can you're fine to say that. Yeah, I was actually I talked to the devs about this like 2 weeks ago, and I said, guys, just put and this tip, what I'm about to say, applies to all kinds of development. If you get to a point where you don't know how to fix something, you have a problem that's like not reproducible or barely reproducible, well, how can you fix it? Well, we have, what do we do as developers? We write code. So the solution is you write code to solve the problem. You write diagnostics to catch the problem in its rare state, and when it occurs, you save out pertinent data. When you get to this point where you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure how, it's really hard to reproduce. I don't know how to get to solve it. You create diagnostics. So we had a discussion about this, and it really got to a point where it's like, okay, not too hard. Especially you could just do a simple thing that says, hey, if we're loading a plugin and the plugin we're loading matches the project file, the project's DLL name, then throw up a dialog that says, hey, we're about to do this. Do you want to try and see what's going on, get a call stack, and help us debug. So I'm pretty sure we made that change, and that change was propagated throughout the team. So yes, I'm looking forward to that fix coming in. So that's nice. All right. So we got to work with stuff that's not CodeRush. So we're going to have to add some references. And we're going to go. Bear with me while we wait for this thing to load up. We might get lucky and they'll be
it's that fun dialogue again, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those things that I almost want to just fix. I'm so angry with it. The reason I don't fix it is because it's so big. There it is right there. These are the ones we want. We want something in here. So take a look at this, the version numbers. VSLink Proj, VSLink Proj 2, this is 7.0, 8.0, and 9.0. This corresponds to the version of Visual Studio, I'm pretty sure. Well, over here they say they're all in the 9.0 directory, but I'm pretty sure this is coming from earlier versions of Visual Studio, 8.0, 7.0. Okay? So we're going to grab those. It may be that we only need one of these, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Let's just grab them all.
We only need 8.0 and 9.0 in theory, because the other two earlier ones probably refer to earlier versions of Studio Select, even ones that we don't support now.
Oh, you think so?
Our latest version. Okay. So if you're thinking that specific version didn't happen before 2005, that means it won't be in those earlier two ones.
All right, so let's see. Let's see if that works then. Okay, so we've got those two references there, and let's keep going. All right, so I think now I want to say, let's just run again. Now that we've got that in there. So now the next part is going to be, it's a little bit tricky in terms of getting to the piece we need to get. It's like I say, we have to go in and dive in to areas that CodeRush does not wrap for us. But we'll do it. We'll see how far we can get. Okay, we'll come in here. We will add a reference to this. And actually, Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to just run it. I don't want to look at this. So I think when we had this before, specific version is not in the list. So let me remove that. So it's interesting. It's like maybe a different kind of reference. Let's instead browse C# class library bin, debug, and add it from there. And now, I'm just going to run it again and see what happens. Now we have a specific version. Okay, interesting. Let's remove it. Add it one more time. And see, here this doesn't change. So we still have VS reference. We're not going to have a specific version inside of here. Right? So there's no way we're going to be able to get that property this way. So we've got to get to it a different way. So one of the ways that we can get at least closer is we can go into CodeRush.solution, and there it is right there, find ENV DTE project. And so it's going, the ENV DTE, this stands for, holy cow, I mean, I don't even remember what this stands for. Environment, design time environment is what I think it stands for. DTE is design time environment, ENV is environment. So it's kind of this weird thing. But it is one of the objects that you get when you're modifying Visual Studio at a low level. Okay, and that's what CodeRush protects you from this stuff in most cases. So, and then what we need to do is pass in the project name. Well, we can get that from our reference dot what? Name the reference. We have like what do we have in here? Like we have a project right there, and then we have. Let's see if we get anything with that. And this is going to be. We'll just call this our DTE project. Okay, let's step through. We got something real. The thing I hate though is these stupid COM objects, because you open it up and you know sometimes you don't get a lot of detail or information of
this. This is exactly why nobody ever used to write add-ins for Studio or anything else.
Yeah,
because you'd have to do this. And
yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Every second statement was a cast back to something sane.
Yeah, it's going to get worse actually, Rory. And the reason it's going to get worse is because there's an object inside of here. Whoops. Let me just get that. Let's see what this looks like in the watch window. Does it give us anything of value here? It's
as we're going through this, and this does get worse, as Mark says, everybody pay a great deal of attention to just how much the dev team of CodeRush and DX4 is saving you.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot. Yeah, so this once we wrap this, it would be as easy as being able to say reference specific version is equal to false, right? Once we wrap all this. In fact, can we do that? Well, we can't do it. We can't do an extension method on as a property, but we could create a method on here, an extension method on this, to do that. So at any rate, so DTE project.object is useless to us. It's pretty much useless. We're not getting anything from this at all. What we need to do, though, is give it a shot and try to typecast that as. And then we need to go into the VS-Lang piece. Let's look at 8.0 and see if 8.0 is going to give us what we want. Dot reference 3. Okay, and let's see what happens. So let's create a local and look at what's going on with our method. Look at this. Modifying a method which contains a usage of an embedded interop type member will prevent the debug session from continuing. What?
Seriously?
What? Oh man! So all right. So
we're done here. I'm redoing this in VB, and I'm serious that won't happen.
I hope it won't happen for you, but you know what? It's happening for me, and it's happening because of this. So we're just going to run it, and we're going to stop, and we're going to fix that problem and come back. And I wanted to show you that problem because the problem is not intuitive to solve. It takes a while to figure out what's going on and how to fix it. The problem is related to these two references that we just added. Let's bring this up and put it out here and we'll show the properties for them. So embed interop types is true. We want to set that to false. We want to set it to false. What's going on, and this impacts you when you're doing development that's extending Visual Studio. And you're doing edit and continue. And what's happening is when it says embed interop types, that means the interop types are embedded here. But guess what? They're also loaded into the ENV DTE. and when you into the environment, into the Visual Studio environment. So we got 2 copies, and when it comes time to work with them, it doesn't know which one to use, and so it throws up that error. Sorry, you can't modify a method that does this. So what the solution is, set this to false. Okay? Embed interrupt types to false. Again, yeah, this is all stuff we would love to protect you from. So it's possible in the future we'll have.
So presumably an extension to our wonderful references options is that when we add references to those particular interrupt types, we can go and flick that switch as well later.
Exactly. I will leave that as an
Future
exercise
direction.
for the reader because of my limited time today. But yes, I was thinking exactly the same thing. That's another candidate for adding. So if we add, we could maybe do something too where we add a particular, we associate a context with a decision, where we say, okay, set this to false if this context is true. In other words, if you're building a CodeRush plugin and you're adding a reference to VS language. You see what I'm saying, Rory?
Yeah.
Assign a context to it. We could go, that far and make this really a nice. Let's go to browse up here again to C# class library, bin, debug, add. Great point. Now, let's take that piece of code I put on the clipboard and see if we can still step through it. Oh. What's going on here? What does it not like? This like project 2?
Oh, it's referencing back to the 7 version.
Ah!
The one
Okay.
I said not to add and kind of obviously made a mistake.
Yeah, I can't believe you joined our session today, Roy. It's really just,
Sorry, dude.
It pissed me off. All right, so let's shut down again. We'll shut down. We won't save, and let's go fix that. All right, so we're going to add some more references as soon as we get control. Come on, Visual Studio. There we go. And we'll wait a while. I wish they had a filter up here. Come on, guys.
Nice.
Ah. I can type in the filter and you would just know to skip a whole bunch of stuff. I like one something that has VS, in it. Playing. There we go.
I'm fairly sure the DevExpress grid control has like one property you turn on and it gets you the filter.
It does? Does it?
Something like that. It's pretty simple.
Don't you have to like put a text box up there or something, or does it do it on its own?
I think it does it as a row in the grid.
All right, so let's do this now, and let's just at the very least see if what happens when we try to build it.
So hang on, we've got the 2 references, and have we done the interop flip again on those 2?
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. That's why you're here. All right.
If I hadn't distracted you the first time and put them in, you'd have done that already. So I kind of got to make up for it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna run now. All right. Just going to go back to the code. We've got a breakpoint there. We'll set a breakpoint there. All right. Add a reference. Browse. Up. Okay, so we're here. Let's just step over this line and see what we get. Ah, what? Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's try, instead of doing this, let's change this to this and see if we have a reference in here. Okay, so here we do. Let's grab it. We'll get this type instead and see what we got. And this, we'll just call this the wait, actually, let's do this instead, actually. not this. Let's try the project on it instead. Sorry, VS project. Let's see if that one works. Okay, so the project.object paradoxically is of type project, and it's of type VSLang project.
Is that because the outer one is our wrapper and the inner one is the real thing?
No, it's not, because our wrappers we don't do this kind of
fun hierarchies.
Yeah, we don't do this. This is something else. This is an ENV DTD project, and then out of that we're getting a VSLang project. So this is a Visual Studio project associated with a Visual Studio language, is what is in that object. Okay. Then we can go into there. We can go in and say, let's go to VS project dot find. Oh wait.
No, you're
sorry, wrong one. There we go. So VS project dot, here we go. Now we should have a dot references. There we go. Okay, so the project here has got references, and now inside of there it's got a find method, and in there we can pass in the reference. Did we call something reference up there? Was it VS reference? Is that what we called it? No, it was a variable name above. We had no variable name. Okay, now we can. So now reference dot name, and now let's declare local on that. Let's see what we get with that. If we can execute that line of code. Uh-oh.
No, you've introduced a local up ahead, which isn't got a value.
Oh, you're right. Let's run it. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Luckily, CodeRush protects you from this stuff, so let's remove that one more time. The DXcore protects.
Is it going to be on? Oh, there you go. Browse already in the right location.
Yeah. So okay. So here we go, and then we'll call this maybe not find but found reference. And let's see what we get here. Boom. Found reference.
Well, got a COM object. And it's got the right identity by the look of it.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we see if it's got a it's got a specific version property in it. It does not. No specific version property. Let's play with it a bit.
What you can do, if you want to control KR will allow you to go to the object browser, and you can do a search for a specific phrase through all of your existing references.
Do I have to put the caret anywhere before I hit control KR?
No, it's not case sensitive or context sensitive at all.
I get find symbol.
Okay, that's not what I was expecting. You've obviously got different keys to me. Let me think. It'd be view object browser, perhaps from the menu.
Let's see. Oh, there it is right there.
There you
go. Okay.
And it's got a search bar we can use to maybe find specific. If we're lucky enough, the property's called that. You're going to
I hit the find.
There we go.
Nice. Okay, so it's in VSLang project80.reference3.specific version, and that's what it is. Okay, so we were pretty much there. VSLang project80 reference 3. So I'm going to execute this line again, now casting to this and see if it gets it for us. And it does. Okay, so now this is much better. So now found reference should have a specific version property inside of it. There it is right there. Okay?
Cool.
Specific version is false, so we can set that to true. So if not null, then we're going to say specific version equal to true. And let's keep that line of code. Okay, and then we'll run. And now, a copy local false. Oops, I shouldn't double click that. Copy local false, specific version true. Jeez, the double click is sensitive. Okay. False and true, just like we want.
Aren't we setting to a specific version as false though?
I'm sorry?
Or did I miss the?
No, he wants specific version equal to true. The reason why is because he wants the devs to see errors on their machine when their automated build process sees the errors as well. Because that means the dev needs to get the right build number out there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So once it's set to true, when specific version set to true by default, copy local is set to false. And so now we've done it. We can just verify, remove that, add one more time. So now we can see it. Copy local false, specific version true. I want to just try one more thing. I want to add the reference using projects and see what happens, except through the code. I just want to see, what happens if we get out of here, what returns null in here. It's a different kind of project that happens, occurs. So we'll come in here and we'll say we'll do it this way as a project reference. So that's good. Also, interesting. So specific version is false. We're setting it to true, even though in the properties over here we don't see specific version.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Okay. Well, what do you want to do? You want to end, or do you want to do an option style for this?
We could do that if you want. It allows you to specify the particular values you want in there, so if you do happen to reverse your decision for any good reason, then we can do that.
All right. Are there any questions? I want to see if we have any questions at this point.
Can't see any. You guys all happy with the way this is coming together? We're making sense, or have we gone completely the wrong way? Please feel free to let us know and ask away in the questions box there.
No,
At least one person is very happy.
One person very happy. That's great. I want to take I want to create a method that I want to create an extension method on this that does the that does this work on reference is what I think I want to do.
Yeah.
Let's pull this out. We're going to call this set specific version, like that. And let's make this a which parameter. Okay. So let's make an extension for the reference parameter. And let's take this to its own file. Come back. Now we have set specific version true on reference, which I like so much better.
It's much nicer, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. And ultimately, since reference is ours, it's in the DevExpress core, we could put this in as a property.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to kind of talk to the devs about that, see if they, what they think about that. But I like this better. I like this code much better now. Now it's like we're just doing false and true. And
the nice thing is you've got a nice drop-in class now that can add this to any project that you might have for the moment until it is in the DX core, and you can still write nice code. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can still write reasonably looking code against that, and then when it does migrate elsewhere, hopefully into the DX core, it'll be a very minor change.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So that's good. Okay, so we've done that. Let's add an options page for it. So say add a new item, new project. Go to DX core, grab an options page. Call this opt project defaults. The user level, I'm fine with that category, is going to be where? Would it be not? It's probably editor. I mean IDE, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or should we have our own level, just project level?
Well, that's the other thing. I
think I'm going to call this just project is what I'm going to call this. It's not really IDE, it's really more specific to, and then in here we'll call this default properties. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. And now it comes, this is a little bit tedious here, so this I'll just, normally we have dancing, dancers come in around this point. And let's bring the toolbox out here so you can see everything. So we're going to need a label, and so the question is, do we want to say it's false, true, or use the default? That's what I think we're looking at. And I think I'm going to do it with radio buttons and a panel is what I think I'm going to do. I like the UI on that a little bit better. It's a little harder for us to do, but I'm a bigger fan of the UI. And properties here look like this. I really want this to be its own control, custom control, I think, but we'll let's move this down so we can see more properties. All right, so this is going to be false. This is going to be default. And this is going to be true. It's kind of a three-state control.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they sort of have that on checkboxes. They've got that null state, but it's so hard to read and so hard to use. It's not really very intuitive.
You know, maybe you're right. Maybe I should just use the checkbox. I was kind of thinking about that, and I was thinking, yeah, do I want to do that?
A number of people have complained at me for doing that in products in the past, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because sometimes it's really hard for them to see that it's null, and sometimes it's a case of, well, how do I set it back to the sort of null state?
How do I set it back to the null state?
I think it's a backspace, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while, as I say, since I've done it, because of the feedback I got. You're kind of deleting the value that you've set.
We could also have a right-click reset is what we could do.
That's nice, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do this, CopyLocal, specific version.
You've got a property there called three-state, which needs to be set true.
Okay. True. Let's drop a menu on there just because I'm thinking the right-click menu is going to be useful. Menu strip. It's going to be reset or use default. That's what it will be. And we need to assign the context menu strip to these two guys right here. Okay, so that menu will show up there. We have the events. When these are changed, I don't know if we need to do anything when these are changed in particular. And then we're going to say, just add a bit of discoverability here for that right-click menu. I'll just say something like right here that says, right-click checkbox to reset to default state. Like that. And maybe actually we could have more instructions here, I think. We could come in and say check for true, clear for false, and then that. like that. All right, well, let's set the, let's get our CodeRush events in here. And we have commit changes, and we have prepare page, and we have restore to false. Okay, so I think with that we can run it. Oh, wait, we need one more thing, and that is inside of our plugin. We need to respond when the options are changed.
Yes, we do.
Here we'll just set a breakpoint here too. All right, let's run. Wait, no, we don't want to run yet. The reason we don't want to run yet is because I need to get these from some settings location, is what I need to do. So I think what I'll create some local variables here. We'll just say copy local equals set that value there, and specific version is false up there as well. Let's declare that field. And declare that field. Whoops, that was local. Declare that as a field too. And now let's run. Oh shoot! No.
What now, man?
It's got to be also. It's got to be like. It's got to be kind of a nullable kind of thing. It's got to have a nullable state as well.
Oh right, yeah. So nullable of bool.
So I forget how to do this. It's so let's say VB. And there's a question mark. Will give me nullable. VB 0. There it is. So that is what that looks like. It's just a question mark at the end. I've not worked with nullables very much at all. Okay.
It's quite a niche area.
Yeah. So then we'll have code in here that will respond to that as well. So I think then that means these are set to null. Is that right? How is the?
I think by default they're null. Yes. Effectively, they have a has value which equals false until
that's what it is.
Assign
Yeah.
a value.
That's what it is. So something like that, right? So we're saying if dot has value is a property, or yeah, it's a property. So it has value. We'll say CopyLocal is equal to that. And dot what? Do you do something else? Dot value.
Or value.
Okay, got it. That's making sense. So we come down here and say if specific version dot has value, then we'll set to specific version dot value. Okay, there we go. Not too hard to work with. What'd you say?
I say it looks good.
Okay. And here, it's interesting that we can assign directly to it like this. So the assignment takes.
Yeah.
So you must have an override for this. You must have
There's a
a.
nice short-circuiting mechanism or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's run it now. Okay, so let's explore references. Let's add this. Now I just want to see what we have here. It has value. It's false on both of these, so we're just going to skip right through that. Okay. We need one other thing. We need an initialization. We need to call the load settings. So we'll have to, whatever code we put in here to load those settings, we're going to have to put some of that code in here too as well. All right, so let's go to the options page. Let's go to project, default properties. All right, say we want CopyLocal. Oh, interesting. So you just click it to get to the third state.
You can.
But it's not really, so all right, so we want to have copy local to false, so that's set there. So we need to actually set it in the intermediate state as its default. So let's actually do this. So let's go to default settings, click OK. Whoops, I'm missing a breakpoint, it looks like. All right. So let's go in. All right, let's do default settings, yes. What? Oh, that's why. Okay, one more time. Almost there. All right, default settings. So here we're going to have, oh, did I really not give these any good names? Now I'm in pain. So checkbox 1, holy cow. Yeah, I rarely do this. Checkbox 1 is specific version. We'll fix that later. We can't rename it now because we're going to continue. So it's just checkbox 1 dot CheckState equals CheckState dot indeterminate. Like that. And then there's the other one, really checkbox 2. It's not. What is it?
Okay, I didn't see coming.
Check copy local. I gave this one a good name. Okay. All right. So that's going to take care of that. Restore to false will take care of that. And we should set those properties on the form, or I could do it inside the initialize right here. Okay. So I can do that. Although I think it makes a lot more sense to take this and this and put it in its own method and call it from both places.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I think. So we'll do that. All right. So this is what this page should look like. So we want copy local set to false. We do that. When specific version set to true, we would do that. And then we click on OK, like that. Now we should get a breakpoint in. Well, there's options change committed. I don't know. Prepare pages. Oh, I guess it came up before I set the breakpoint. Is that maybe what happened? All right. So commit changes. So we want to go into EA.storage, and we want to. We don't have a 3-state Boolean thing that's going to help us out.
Right.
Note to devs.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do this with.
You want to go enum? You want to go coded int?
Oh, an enum is interesting. Oh, I can do it with an enum.
You can do enum.
CheckState.
We have CheckState.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So we're in the project defaults, and the section within here is going to be. Well, I'll call this project defaults, and this first key is going to be specific version, and the value is going to be I think it's checkbox 1 dot CheckState. And I think that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
Is that right? I think it is.
Sounds
Can
good.
you just call it string on that? We can copy local. And it's going to take CHK local CheckState. The reverse of this is a little bit different. The right is going to become a read, and I guess we can pass in. Can we pass in those? The prepare page. I think we have to know. We want to say we're going to pass in CheckState value determinate as the default for these. And then we need to read enum that is going to look at that. So we also have to pass in an enum type as the third parameter right there. And then we need to typecast the result as well. So third parameter is going to be, I believe it's type of CheckState, like that. And I'm just going to do the same on the next one too. And then we have to typecast the result.
Was there one there that allowed us to use generics? Pass in the check state. They would already be cast on the way back out.
Let's try it. See if that works. All right. Nice. Yeah. So now we'll say this is CopyLocal is I think already declared. Why am I not getting IntelliSense here?
How do we just?
Oh, I know why.
Back
Because of that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Very good. All right. So there's 1 and 2. This one's going to be switch K. Next one. Okay. Thanks for helping me through that. All right. That's awesome. Good. Yeah, I didn't even see that. That's awesome. I'm glad we put that in. All right, good job, Deb. Good job, Debs. Okay, so we have that. What's the other one? The tool item. I'm almost thinking we abandoned this because it's just a simple click. We don't need that anymore. We'll get rid of that.
Turns out null is all. Indeterminate's a lot easier than I thought.
Okay, plugin options changed. If EA dot options pages dot contains, then pass in type of opt. What do we call it? Project defaults. If it contains that page, then we want to go in and we want to get its storage. Let's change the breakpoint here. Run. That means the page was displayed and changes occurred. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say uptopages.storage. In fact, what we could do is, let's do this. I'll local for that. There's my storage. Then go into the option piece. And here's where we get that storage pieces. Let's do the same kind of thing here. We just want to replace all. Just call this one storage. And then we'll copy this to clipboard. We'll come back over here, paste it in, and then here's our CopyLocal. Oops, CopyLocal down there. Here's CopyLocal, and then there's specific version. Okay. Why am I having a problem here? What's wrong?
One of them, it's not going to work quite, is it? Because one's an enumeration with 3 values.
Oh, read enum.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that.
A little conversion issue to do that.
Right. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, why did that take me so long to do that? So to get that. Okay. So what we need instead is we need to put this in a local.
We could change our storage values within the plugin. It would take a restart to do, but we could change them to use the enumeration as well.
I'm restarting. I agree. I totally agree. So we'll get rid of these two. Come down in here, and we will say declare field. So now we know got these as CheckState. And so now what we want to do is we want to say CopyLocal equals CheckState.checked. Then we're going to set CopyLocal equal to true. Else, if it's equal to CheckState unchecked, we're setting it to false. And
you don't do anything in the indeterminate state.
Yeah, hold on. I don't really want to do this yet. I want to do something I want to do something a little bit different. Yeah, I know you're totally right. I want to call this result. I want to call this result. And I want to come in here as a VB result. Can I do this? I can't do this. I have to pass this.
I was just going to say, if CopyLocal not equal to CheckState indeterminate, then assign whatever it is. Does that work?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we just still have to convert it to a bool, but sure, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
What were you going to do?
I don't know.
Yours is probably better.
I was hoping. No, I don't know. I was. Oh, we could get into it.
Ternary expression, maybe.
Hold on. Yeah. No, I was going to do. Hold on. Let's go backwards. This code is actually interesting to me, right here. Let me undo this, get back to where we were, because the starting place was also interesting. It was nicely terse, right? Okay, so hold on a second. This value.
So has value translates to is not indeterminate.
Yes. Yes, it does.
But then it's the assignment becomes slightly more complex. You can do a ternary if it's the checked, you can say true, otherwise false.
Yeah, I know. I am like, I'm back now. I think I'm back wanting to do this now. I'm back to where I kind of like the notables now.
That's cool.
And let's kind of get back to where we have the nobles in there. So we've got the nobles in. Yeah, I'm kind of back to here. And I think what I want to do is, let me create a local here. And we're going to say this is our, let's check state. And then what we'll do is we'll say if CheckState equals CheckState.checked, then we're going to say CopyLocal is equal to true.
Careful, that's actually the specific version, not the CopyLocal.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to pull all this out into its own method anyway.
Okay, cool.
So I'm not really caring about it right now. So here, you know what? So nobody freaks out. It's a specific version. How did I lose this version? Right. So we'll just do this so everybody's okay, not freaking out. So if it's equal to this dot unchecked, then we're going to say it's false. Otherwise, we're going to say specific version is equal to null.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that how I said work with nulls? I think
that's good.
Yep. Okay. So with that said, now I want to take this and extract it. And then I want to do a few other things. I want to take this. Can I not introduce a local placeholder for that? I cannot. So let's do this. VB 0 means null, right? Okay, so here we go. We'll just say property. And we'll set that equal to that.
And the return value needs to return property.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Now you need some of those strings in the read need to be parameters.
Yes. Hold on a second. This needs to be a parameter too.
Oh, that's true.
Or no, wait. No, it does not. This does not need to be a parameter. We just do this. Okay? And so now what we need to do is come over here and say this string needs to come out, which parameter, and this is going to be the property name. Oh, come on. Here we go. Property name. So now we have
it's kind of getting all
state.
involved. Or
What'd you say? I'm going to call it get state. Is what I think I'm going to do.
yeah, that's cool.
Get state, and this is now going to be something that we can assign to CopyLocal. Not specific version. Oh, looks like I've got the wrong one in there. Here we go. We can copy this one up here as CopyLocal.
Oh,
And you know what? This is not. I'm not sure if this is creating something or not. It's only a get on it. It's a get call. I guess we can keep the code as is and pass it in as a parameter. So okay, so that I'm a little happier with this. So we did have to stop anyway because we needed to write this method, and now we've got it. So let's move on this return. And now I think I'm a little bit happier. So this is going to get the state from storage. It's storage state. Okay, now we're happy with that. So now if our options has changed, we do this. The other thing I said is we need to take this code and we need to extract it into its own method. We're going to call this load settings.
Yep.
So that when we first start up, we'll call that from here, that we have the right values that we need so that if we load in the option file that was never shown, we still have the settings in here. So what's cool now is that we've essentially put down the framework for extending this, right? If somebody really wanted to take this and take it to the next step by adding more pieces, it's really easy to do, right? You're going to add your pieces here, add them as fields, and you're going to in here you're going to add the similar code here. Same kind of thing here. Just add these pieces here. If this thing has value, then set it. Otherwise,
everything's really templated out for you. Just look at each piece and make a new addition for each item you're introducing.
Exactly. Now I just want to clear up. I just want to clean up some of this. Check for clue, for true, clue for false.
We don't need
Indeterminate.
a menu anymore, though. Yeah.
Yep. Indeterminate. To use Visual Studio's false. Yeah. Okay, and then we need to get rid of this. And was there something else here with regards to the events? Something in my mind is about the events. It changes.
We did have an event in place for the context menu.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So we should remove. We should clear that out. That's probably what was on my mind.
I can think of.
Okay. All right. So, oh wait, there's something here. Restore defaults. This part, this should be in our own method here. We can just call this restore defaults. Like this. And then we can call this as well from our initialize. That's the other thing I wanted to do. Now I feel like we're ready to run. So let's do it. What's our error?
That's an interesting step because normally I wouldn't be doing that because normally my assumption is that the defaults are the same as those of the controls. So like a checkbox defaults to false, but in this case it's not the way we want it to behave. So yeah, that's a good point.
I have a slight problem here. Let's see what's needed to rename. So okay, so the slight problem is that I gave this the same name as something that already existed, the event. And so I just said let's do a rename, and now I'm just tabbing through the references. So here's one in initialize, that's the right one, that one as well, I want to rename, but I don't want to rename this one. I'm just going to break this link and go back to the others, and that's restore default settings. Okay, and now let's run. And I'm feeling this is going to work, at which point we'll pass it off back to Amanda, just giving you plenty of warning, Amanda, to turn on that microphone. Ready to jump in. And I'll leave this to Rory.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. We'll put this up and get the code out and stick that on the community plugin site.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody, we have a whole line of... Yes.
Wait, too soon. Too soon. Too soon, Amanda.
You're going to go back to giving a 5 seconds notice again, aren't you?
You're right. I'm going to, just hold on a minute. Okay, so let's go in and browse. I said, if this works, we're going back to you is what I said. I'm sorry. Let's open this up.
That's the level of faith Amanda has in your work.
That's right. So CopyLocal has value is true. Specific version has value also is true. So the settings must have been out there. CopyLocal false, specific version is true. So that's what we're expecting to see. Let's just run it and watch it. And now we go over here, we bring up the properties. You should see CopyLocal false, specific version true. Go to the options page. Go into project, default properties. Here's the prepare page. I'm just going to hit run. Oh, I forgot to rename checkbox 1. I'll do that after we're done. So here we go. Checked is true. So specific version is going to be true. CopyLocal is going to be false. Okay, you know, I'm still not a fan of this, right? The UI here, because it doesn't actually say the word true next to it. You know what I mean? It's almost like we need to, this could be better. But I'm not going to touch it. The only thing I'm going to change before I give you the code is I'm going to rename checkbox 1 to CopyLocal or CHK CopyLocal, whichever one we can rename. But from a UI standpoint, I don't like this because you have to kind of go like, oh, what? Oh, this is, you know, which one is a default and which one's not. But from the standpoint of satisfying the customer's requests, you know, it certainly appears like we're done. If we set both of these to use defaults, or if we come in here, hold on a second, let's change this. Maybe go to the default settings to show that that works. Run it. So there's the default settings right there. That's what this is going to look like by default. We come in and we say, okay, let's set both to true, and we'll test that. CopyLocal should be true, specific version should be true. We'll test that, run this, make changes. We're not stepping through the other breakpoint, but I have a feeling that could all work like we're expecting to. We'll remove that reference, let's add it, look at it, And now we have both set to true. CopyLocal is true, specific version is true. Let's go in to the options dialog, make a change, set both of these to false. Okay. And now let's remove reference and re-add it. And now we should see that kicking in that they're both now false. Boom, boom. Good. And then one more time, we'll go in the options dialog. One more time, we're going to go to the default settings, say OK, and remove it. Now let's add it. And CopyLocal is true, specific version false. Back to the defaults in Visual Studio. And we're done. Rory, do we have any questions?
We do not. No, we're good to go.
All right, I just want to do a review of the nasty code. So the nasty code is that stuff we put over in extensions right here, which is we're going into CodeRush solution, find envdt project, and get that thing. And at this point, from once we get this thing, the rest of this code is just like standard code that you might be able to find on the internet in terms of how do I change specific version, right? How do I actually get to it? Where is it declared? You might be able to slunk around as well as we did with the object browser, as Rory suggested, which was excellent. We went and we searched for a specific version, and we found that it was inside reference 3. The trick is, though, is figuring out that DT object is a project. In other words, DT project is an env DT project, but then we also have this VSLang project, a different thing, a different entity that's out there. And then once we have that, then we can go, and once we have this, we can go into its references, then we can call find, pass in the same name, and we get that as a VSLang project, dot reference 3. And now we can access specific version. So that's the nasty, hard to figure out code in this whole thing. Everything else is pretty straightforward. With that, Amanda, I will pass over to you and say thanks to Rory, by the way, for joining us and rushing in and getting in with your microphone made of tin cans.
Indeed.
And Amanda, I pass it over to you for real. Seriously, I'm not gonna.
For real? You sure? Okay. All right, like I said, we have webinars that are posted throughout October. You can check them all out at devexpress.com/webinars. Next week, we're back to Wednesdays with this series, September 7th at noon Pacific Standard Time. If you have a suggestion for a feature, you can email it to Rory at RoryV, I'll put it here in the chat box, at devexpress.com. Or you can tweet it and put hashtag CodeRush so they can get it. All right, and then next, yes.
By the way, Amanda, I was just going to say next week I think I'm going to implement a navigation provider called GoToType. Apparently we did not have this, and the idea is that if we're here and we say go to type, it'll drill us in to here and show us that declaration for that particular type. So the idea is it goes from here, finds if it's on a reference, it finds its declaration. What is it a declaration of? Then it goes in and shows you that piece. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. But as I say this, Rory, I'm also thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a tool window that just showed you the type declaration for anything you were on, and it just showed you no matter where you were? That's kind of what I was thinking about. So I don't know. I think we'll play with this a little bit. We might play with that. That's one of the things on the list that I've been thinking about for next week. So, and with that, Amanda, I send it back to you. Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. All right, so then next Thursday, September 8th, DevExpress Analytics with Analytics Evangelist Woody Pewitt. Discover how using DevExpress complete and rich analytics solutions can be built. We'll use the pivot grid to display aggregated data and then show how to visualize the data using charts and gauges. And then finally, we bring it all together with reports. And then next Friday, September 9th, Sailing the Ocean of Ones and Zeros with Chris Woody Woodruff of Proficient Inc. and Deep Fried Bites. When the development of theory outpaces data, researchers and information workers often find that new ideas cannot be tested for lack of tools or technology. Researchers in active areas of science, in addition to corporate information workers, face a different challenge. Gathering data is so easy and quick that it exceeds our capacity to validate, analyze, visualize, store, and curate the information. This talk addresses this challenge and the opportunity it presents. So if you missed anything from this webinar, or you want to review any of our previous webinars, please visit us on the DevExpress channel at tv.devexpress.com. And again, thanks so much to Mark and to Rory. Thank you all for joining us, and thanks for choosing DevExpress.